Faith, if you would, just introduce yourself for the record, and you have your testimony.
Okay, I'm going to talk fast. Good afternoon, my name is Faith Bussey. I'm a homeschool mom, a Republican activist, and I'm opposed to SB640, the Equal Access Tebow Bill. I'm speaking on behalf of Texans for Homeschool Freedom. I am also from Arlington, the birthplace of homeschool liberty in Texas. It was Arlington Independent School District that went after homeschoolers under truancy laws. It was Leeper versus AISD that made its way to the Supreme Court of Texas, where the landmark decision was made to consider homeschooling equal to private schooling and therefore free from any government regulation or intrusion. Public is public, private is private, homeschool is unaccredited private school. For years, well over a decade, Texas Homeschool Coalition fought to keep homeschool private and unregulated and stated in all of their literature the fact that homeschool is considered private school in the state of Texas. Mr. Lambert was also very opposed to the testing requirement in previous versions of this bill, calling it regulation, up until he realized it wouldn't pass without it. Somewhere along the line, they lost their way and changed their talking points. So Texans for Homeschool Freedom was formed to remind our former leaders in the homeschool movement that what those families fought for in Arlington was not access to public school sports. They fought to be private. They fought to not be regulated. They fought for the parental right to determine their children's education without government's help. Any separation of the terms homeschool and private school in our laws is creep we don't want. It's the crack in the door. In addition, this bill is called the Equal Access Bill, but is anything but equal. The testing requirement is a basic undermining of parental rights. My word as a parent will not be equal to the word of a public school teacher. My husband's word as the principal will not be equal to the word of a public school principal. So no public school student takes a standardized test within the first 6 weeks, but homeschoolers will be required to have more than the word of their teachers. The current no pass, no play affidavit that is used by multiple organizations either under the UIL umbrella, like 4-H, or choosing to follow UIL guidelines is appropriate, equitable, and should not be changed.
Thank you.
Thank
Ms. Wells, and thank you for what you do.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Campbell.
just from the last two testimonies, and it's really not a question, it's to you all. It's more a comment to our committee. I just don't understand why when something is an opt-in, why somebody comes against that when it does not affect them. Why you try to bring reasons why somebody else doesn't get to opt in. You're stopping a choice because you have chose not to opt in. So when we have a deliberative body trying to allow Texans to have freedoms, why would there be such opposition to allow parents who are in the best position, wouldn't you agree, best position to determine the arena and the activities that are going to help their child become the best they can be? It really just, it's difficult for me to wrap my brain around the fact that somebody would oppose somebody else a choice. So, just a little comment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the indulgence.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, panel. Very quickly. And introduce yourself again for the record.
Sorry, Faith Bussey. In response to that, there are other organizations that are under the UIL umbrella. And so
Let me just interrupt, okay? Not here representing any other organizations. I'm listening and I support parents to have additional options. They can opt in, they can voluntarily choose something for their child.
Sure.
So we don't need a further discussion. We're going to agree to disagree.
Can we
Thank
talk
you.
later?
I don't think that's going to change my mind.
That's okay.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, panel. And we do have one more resource with